The grave that moved. Graveyards have always carried a heavy silence, but what if one didn't stay silent? What if one decided to move? Clara had recently moved to a small rural town in Vermont. It was peaceful, quiet, and surrounded by forests. But the locals all warned her about one place, an abandoned cemetery at the edge of the woods. "It's cursed," the old man at the grocery store had whispered. "No one goes there after dark. Especially not near the grave with no name." Clara thought it was just small-town superstition, until she saw it herself. One afternoon, she took her dog Max for a walk near the woods. That's when she stumbled across the cemetery. It was overgrown, the headstones cracked, moss crawling across the names. Except for one grave. It was fresh. The soil looked recently dug, dark and damp. But the strangest part? There was no headstone. Just a wooden plank sticking out of the earth as if someone had marked it hastily. Clara's stomach churned, but she walked away, telling herself it was nothing. That night she couldn't sleep. A strange thought gnawed at her mind. Why was there a fresh grave in an abandoned cemetery? Who had been buried there? And why wasn't there a name? Around midnight, Max began to bark, low, growling barks at the window. Clara went to calm him and froze. The grave. She could see it from her window, and it wasn't where it had been that afternoon. It had moved closer. The next morning, Clara went back to the cemetery. Her hands trembled as she walked to the spot where the grave had been. The soil was undisturbed, flat, as though it had never been there. But just 20 feet away, near the tree line, the same mound of fresh earth, the same wooden plank. The grave had shifted. She asked the neighbors, but they all refused to talk. One woman shut her door in Clara's face, muttering, "It chooses who sees it. If you've seen it once, you'll see it again." For 3 nights, it kept happening. Every time Clara looked out the window, the grave was closer. The mound of soil dragged itself across the ground, inch by inch, foot by foot, as if something beneath it was crawling toward her house. By the 4th night, it was at the edge of her yard. Max refused to go outside. Clara stayed awake all night, clutching a kitchen knife, listening to the faint sound of shifting dirt outside her window. On the 5th night, she heard knocking. Not on the door, from below. She pressed her ear to the wooden floorboards. Her blood ran cold. It was coming from under the house. 3 slow knocks, like someone trapped beneath the floor, waiting to be let out. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She answered with shaking hands. Static filled the line. Then a voice, hoarse and broken, whispered, "Bury me, or take my place." At sunrise, Clara ran to the cemetery. The grave was gone from her yard. It had returned to the center of the cemetery. But this time, the wooden plank had a name carved into it. Her name. Clara was never seen again after that night. When the police searched her house, they found her dog sitting by the floorboards, whining at a patch of soil that looked freshly dug. And at the cemetery, the nameless grave sat quietly once more, waiting for the next person to notice it. Some say if you walk by that cemetery today, you'll see the grave move slightly. Not much, just enough to remind you it's watching. And when it decides to come closer, you won't be able to stop it.